This is the BMW tent here at CES 2016, and behind me, we've got the BMW iVision Future Interaction. Okay, it's a little awkwardly named, but it's a concept car based on the Spider that's a little bit more than the typical concept car that you might see at an auto show. The first thing most people notice about it is the fact that there's no doors, but that's actually not the point at all. It'll have doors in the future, and you have to get inside to fully realize that this is not, your grandpa's car with push-button transmission. In fact, it has almost no buttons inside it at all, nor is it the couch on wheels concept that you might expect from other automakers who are attempting to make, the autonomous car of the future.
The Vision Future Interaction is about a user experience. So obviously there's a lot of technology in this car, but it doesn't necessarily need to be visible. With that, I think very often people mistake that technology has to be there or has to be celebrated in a certain way, but they forget that it also introduces complexity to the user.
So in a nutshell, what BMW is trying to do here is fuse the right pieces of technology with their existing strengths, the actual experience of operating the machine. With that said, one of the most forward-looking things about it to me was actually the seat design. The second I sat in it with someone else, the most natural thing for me to do based on the shape and orientation of the seats was rest my arm on the center armrest and have a casual conversation. I mean, how amazing is that? Which isn't to say that inside the car there isn't some really, really cool technology. The first thing that stood out to me was, of course, the dual displays. There's a two-layer display, so that's a transparent display on top of a more traditional LCD display directly in front of the driver, as well as a large, super wide panoramic display that extends all the way from the driver's side over to the passenger side that can actually be controlled with motion sensors on the driver's side or two banks of motion sensors on the passenger side, as well as buttons that are integrated into the steering wheel, as well as the side of the car over on the passenger side. But there's more to them than meets the eye, and the information displayed on them is not static.
The displays, they stand for information. When we think about information, we have to think about relevant information to the driver and to the passengers in the car. And that means that, for example, different driving scenarios kind of ask us to deliver different information to the driver.
So in autonomous driving mode, you might have the display in front of you with pertinent information about nearby cars, for example, on the foreground display, with the route actually displayed in the background, since you're not operating the vehicle anyway, so it's of kind of secondary importance. And then the panoramic display, well, hey, that might be making full utilization of its entire width with, suggested callers for someone that you like chatting with when you're driving. And it can connect to your phone, which is pretty cool, so it can bring up the best suggestions so you're not navigating through a bunch of deep menus. And it might have, media information for both you and your passenger. Are you compromising the ultimate driving experience by putting in this autonomous technology?
We would never compromise the ultimate driving experience in the car. This is one of the driving states that we will stay true to and also deliver it in the future.
In manual driving mode, well, hey, you don't want distractions, right? So that panoramic display might shrink all the way down to just a very small display, and then the one that's in front of you, well, now all of a sudden, hey, your route's in the foreground because you kind of got to follow it, right? And then in the background, you might have secondary information like a topographical map so you can really get the most out of your experience. Now, right now in the concept, the HUD is actually not active, so the display that comes up right on the windshield, but I mean, in the future, who knows what we're going to see with stuff like that, driving assist, like training modes, right? So you can take a corner a little bit faster, a little bit better, and the car can actually coach you through it, kind of like you would do in a video game today. But the story here is actually deeper than the car, and BMW is also showing off some really cool Internet of Things stuff around their open mobility cloud, with the idea that the car becomes more than just a car and more of a digital hub. So the demo they've got is actually surprisingly cool, with this smart connected mirror concept that they've created running through a theoretical demonstration that shows what life might be like with a connected home and a connected car. So in the mirror, you can actually see your agenda for the day, and all you gotta do is you grab your key fob, it takes that as your confirmation, and you walk out the door. The car, once you grab the fob, actually pulls itself out of the garage, which opens itself, positions itself in the correct orientation on the road in front of you, sets the climate control so it's comfortable when you get in, and boom, off you go. You arrive at work, you get out of the car, and this is where it gets really cool yet again. You gesture at the car, okay, you found a parking spot, cool. Pull into that parking spot, car does it completely by itself, really neatsy keen feature. Then when you're done, you walk off to work, and whether you work, a 1-minute walk from your car, or whether you're a lot further from your car, it's got this bump detection feature that, combined with their overhead view, allows you to see a live view of what's going on near your car and actually sends you a push notification on your phone if someone bumps it, so you can be like, okay, hey, I need to make sure that everything's okay and my car isn't in, full-on disaster mode right now. Then at the end of the day, you use a smart device. So in the demo, they were using a smartwatch. You go, okay, hey, I'm ready to signal you. You signal the car to come out of the spot. You get in, it drives you home, or you drive it home. Hey, whatever, the choice is totally yours. You park it in front of the house. Don't bother pulling into the garage. Go inside, put your key fob in the mirror, and boom, car parks itself, and the mirror's like, hey, so you don't have any appointments until whenever, so I'd suggest you use solar power to charge the car. That's the most economical way. And you can be like, no, actually, hold on, I have an unscheduled thing that I need to go do right away. Charge it as fast as you can. It costs a little bit more, but hey, it's important to me. Very freaking cool stuff.
I think what is very important to understand is that cars are becoming more intelligent in the future. They can take over certain tasks, maybe tasks that we don't particularly enjoy about driving. So when we sit in traffic, the car can actually do certain things we're not necessarily enjoying, and we have time for other things. So basically, this concept car shows to you that there's different scenarios that make the full drive experience a better one.
That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
And a huge thank you to BMW for allowing us to come and have an early look at what they've got going on here at CES 2016. And I mean, by the look of things and the sound of things, well into the future as well.